The WGC Mexico Championship, the story of day one, Louis Oosthuizen, his second at the 15th. Great tempo, beautiful shot, led to an eagle for Louis as he shoots a round one leading 64, 7 under, his lowest career opening round on the PGA Tour. Golf Central's on the air.
Golf Central. Brought to you by TaylorMade.
And with that, we welcome you into Golf Central. Sometimes that's why you play the game. Not exactly the leaderboard we expected with the very best players in the world, but we'll take it through round one. Ryan Burr along with Frank Nobilo and, of course, Mark Rolfing. And a lot to put your arms around. You could take the 1 through 5 in the world, or you could take the guys that kind of snuck in the back door into the event that are playing really well. And I think the two that you're referring to, one hails from England and the other one from India, who have never, ever played a World Golf Championship event, let alone a PGA Tour event. And, Mark, they find themselves on the first page of the leaderboard. So this is bizarre, even at the start of this week.
It really is. This venue is so intriguing. I have never seen a venue where the strategies vary so wildly. Some guys are hitting driver everywhere. Some players are laying up. And because of that, you've got the hard holes playing hard, the easy holes playing easy. It's very entertaining.
We will get to Shubhankar Sharma and Chris Paisley in a bit. But certainly in the meantime, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jon Rahm, all on the golf course, all playing this great event in Mexico. Here are your top 5 in the world. DJ Rahm, JT, Jordan Spieth, Justin Rose, they're all here. They're all playing this week. And let's get to the action. The defending champ is Dustin Johnson. We pick up DJ at the 13th, Frank.
You would think with his power, with putts like this from 42 feet going in, you would think DJ would just take off exactly where he left off last year when he went on to win. But think again.
Yeah, he made 125 feet of putts that included that 42-footer, but there were some issues.
Yeah, he really hit some poor shots. They drove the ball terribly. This one was a bad bounce, but the tree was right in front of him, went out of bounds, actually.
Yeah, that would be a big problem, as it would lead to a double bogey. Now the 17th from 156.
Yeah, there was good, bad, and then there was brilliant. Straight at the flag, water never in play for Dustin Johnson as he spins that back.
Well, Frankie, you talked about the brilliant. There were 6 birdies on the day, including that tap in, 1 double. We showed you a couple of bogeys. So all in all for DJ, just trying to hang around here in round 1.
He doesn't get enough credit for being a good putter. He is a streaky putter, but once they start going in, a lot of them do. That was a beauty at number 1.
So DJ trying to hang around as we talk about, but here he is in the trees again.
Well, you talk about not getting enough credit with the putter. Doesn't get enough credit for the short game skills too. Was lucky to have a shot. But to come up with that, brilliant.
Yeah, but you know what, Frank? It doesn't matter if you don't make the putt. Here's the key.
Oh, come on.
You have got to pay it off somehow. Watch this one.
You betting on this going down?
Yeah, I think it will.
All 5 career rounds in this event on this golf course have been under par, a combined 16 under. But he'll have some work to do moving into Friday, just round 1. Let's check in on world number 2, Jon Rahm. He came out like a house on fire. At one point, it was 3 straight birdies, including this one at 12.
We keep talking about how far these guys hit it, but you know, the very best players. You see that shot there from 52 yards, the ability to just stick it close, tap in.
These guys, of course, started on the back 9, Rolf, so now we move to the front for Rahm.
Yep, this is second shot at the par 4. That's right, from 47 feet, not yards. Knocks to within 2.
When he's going good, it's tough to believe he ever loses, and he does top 10 just about every week, but we did see some frustration.
And, well, this is what you're talking about, and this is where he gets borderline on about to blow a fuse.
15 top 5 finishes in 41 starts as a professional. The talent is undeniable.
Yeah, this is from just 234 yards at the 5th. Coming out of the rough, so it's not going to spin a whole lot. And he gauges it beautifully.
Makes birdie again to get to 3 under, looking to finish up and get to 4, put himself right in the mix. Maybe give us a look at a total Rahmination on the weekend, but the final hole, the 9th, this 18 feet for birdie.
If you're going to play with this sort of emotion, you're going to have to roll through the waves, and that's exactly what Rahm does. This from just under 20 feet, it is money.
I like it, Frank. 4 under 67 for Rahm. He's right where he wants to be. World number 3, Justin Thomas, coming off the win at Honda. You wondered, would he be able to keep at that level he played the weekend?
Well, He had some good moments, some poor moments today. That was a really good one from 77 feet, his third shot.
Problem for JT, just kind of ran out of gas down the stretch.
Yeah, flew this approach shot all the way over the back of the green. Really didn't have much from where he was, and it was just amazing to get that up and down for par.
I said the most interesting player in the field for me this week would be Jordan Spieth. I just feel like he needs to do something.
Well, he needed to at the first hole. That putt is so important to begin your day. Misses, and that's the way his day began.
That was a 5-footer, Rolf. Here he is from 12.
Missed the shorty.
Excuse me, from 30 feet.
Yeah, missed the shorty, make the long one. Bizarre.
And that gets Jordan to 1 under par. Spieth now at the 18th from 23 feet. What a way to finish up. Spieth-like.
Yeah, this is a nice way to end the day comparing to the way he started it. That was dead center, had a lot of pace to it.
And gets Jordan under par, does Jordan Spieth, as he fires the 1 under 70. Justin Rose, number 5 in the world. Problems here at the 7th.
Well, this makes the highlight reel because it is so unusual for Rose with a mid-iron to hit anything other than a great shot. That one, yep, that's a splash. The ripples tell the tale. Double bogey. It still shoots 71.
So, you think about it, there of course is no cut this week, so everyone's going to have probably one really good round to put themselves in position for the weekend. Doesn't matter if it's Thursday or Friday, but for these players, they will need it to be Friday, with the exception of Rahm, who put himself in good position inside the top 10. For DJ, JT, Spieth, and Rose, they will need a bounce-back Friday for sure if they are to climb up that leaderboard. Dustin says it was tough sledding.
It was a bit of a struggle, to say the least. There was some really good holes and some really bad holes. But yeah, I mean, I felt like I was just struggling all day, just grinding. But I did putt pretty well. You know, I felt like I rolled the putter really nicely. When I did have good looks, I made them, which definitely, you know, kept my score, you know, at least respectable. You know, shooting 2 under. I mean, it's not terrible around here, but the way I hit it, I probably should not have shot 2 under.
Anytime you come to World Golf Championship after a couple weeks off and you shoot on the par, you should be happy. And you know, after the first tee shot I hit today, if you told me I was going to shoot a 4 under par, I would have been jumping up and down in happiness. So you know, there's nothing to complain about today. Solid round. I just hope he keeps getting better.
It's probably the worst I've ever felt over the ball in my life. It's a helpless feeling just because it's a course that I feel like you can score, make a lot of birdies on, and I really kind of started on Tuesday. I was hitting balls and one swinging it very well, and then yesterday I just was hitting it awful, and I was trying to. I thought I kind of got it worked out a little bit, and did some work on the range after, and felt like I kind of got a pretty good thought, but I apparently didn't. But it was just one of those days where kind of everything wasn't going my way, and not playing well definitely added to that.
So for the top 5 in the event, it was an interesting bag for sure, really, with the exception of Rahm. Everyone has a lot of work to do. Coming in, we talked about Jordan after the miscut in Phoenix and just not great golf in 2018, not Spieth-like golf. What did you see today? Well,
you're right. First of all, you know, it's the mono that he talked about just sort of recently. So there has been some health issues, but the swing actually looks good, but he just cannot get out of first gear. Mark talked about that miss on the opening hole, the birdie putt. It's like
5-footer.
Exactly, but it's the sort of one when you get into the rhythm of the round, you miss and it reminds you what happened like last week or the week before. And also, this is a 16th WGC event. For a former world #1, he still has yet to register anything better than a top 3. But on the flip side of that, you've got Jon Rahm. You can't say enough about this kid because he's young, we know he's raw, former world #1, we've said all those type of things. But he keeps getting off to great starts. And for some reason, he knows how to get out of the gates better than anybody else in the world right now.
What's interesting, Rolf, when you look at the #1 player in the world, Dustin Johnson, and you see statistically, of course, the springboard from Maui when he played so well and dominated the field all the way through today, his bad rounds is a round like today, a 69, 2 under. A bad round for DJ. He still puts himself in position. What happened today?
Well, first of all, he pretty much hit it all over Mexico City. In fact, one of them went off the property of Chapultepec. Did not drive it well at all. He only hit 6 fairways, and as he said in his own words, he's just very fortunate to have shot 2 under par. So the way I'm looking at it is that was a round that easily could have been 2 over par today. For him to make as many putts as he did and manufacture a score, that score was totally manufactured today by his short game. He should feel very fortunate, and I would say look out now for DJ.
What does that tell you about his maturity, though, that a day where he struck it horribly off the tee, the strength of his game, that he's still able to get in and be in the hunt?
It really says a lot. If you look at Tiger Woods, when he was playing the best golf that anybody's ever played, I think, he would save rounds. You know, it wasn't so much the real low scores he shot, but he could somehow turn those rounds that looked like 74s into 70s or 69s.
It's going to be a fascinating weekend to see the best in the world, see how they try to bounce back on Friday and into the weekend. Once again, no cut this week in Mexico. They are chasing the leaders, and let's get to the guys that had little problem here on an opening round Thursday, like the reigning PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, Xander Schauffele.
Another one that's gone for the equipment change, so we expected, well, maybe some quieter start to the year, but the equipment changes made no difference to this kid's game.
Now he finished in his top 10 at Riviera's last start, so we know he's in form. Looking for another here, his second shot from 232. He devours the par fives.
Well, he really does. And you think about the altitude impact here, this is probably a 6 or 7 iron shot, so it's really like a medium length par 4 at this altitude.
So a 2-putt birdie for Schauffele now at the 17th.
Once again, just a short iron, 156 yards, so that's sort of nothing for these guys. Here's a chance to be just the second Rookie of the Year, since Tiger Woods, believe it or not, to win a WGC event.
A classic late bloomer, not a great junior career, wasn't unbelievable on the web.com, but he has been unbelievable on the PGA Tour. Now Chris Paisley, have to admit, didn't see this coming.
We talk about the depth of golf all the way around the world. This Englishman there, I know England is rather stacked with players. Just came here, relatively good straight hitter, and not too bad on the greens either, Mark.
No, really good on the greens. His first PGA Tour round ever. Amazing performance.
Incredible. He's 31 years old, making not only his WGC debut, but as Rolf just said, his PGA Tour debut. Earned his first win at the South African Open. That's why he's here.
And when putts like that continue to go on, he might just hang around for a little while more, that's for sure. Huge opportunity these next 3 days for him.
Maybe a Paisley tie in the weekend for you, Frank.
Oh, you
wasn't all just with the putter, though, you guys. Come on, give him a little credit here. Look at this bunker shot.
You talking about Ryan credit? Never. Bunker shot, plenty, yeah.
So Paisley 7 under and a chance at the 18th, needs to save par.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his approach shot came up woefully short from the middle of the fairway.
And he indeed would save par, so shoots a 6 under 65, does Chris Paisley. Will be interesting to see how he sleeps tonight, how he handles it tomorrow. Louis Oosthuizen, we know he'll handle it just fine.
And just his second start on the PGA Tour this year, Mark.
Yeah, he's kind of the Rodney Dangerfield of golf. I think gets no respect, really, and you think about what his record has been like. It's amazing.
And you look at the numbers, just pounding the greens, 15 of 18 greens in regulation, and then the all-important inside 10 feet, a perfect 100%, 14 for 14.
Yeah, but I want to see a swing. I mean, the swing is so graceful. This one here from 220, so
yeah,
take 10 or 15% off. It's beautiful.
Same tempo, whether it's a 9-iron or a 5-iron, it's just amazing. That is a beauty. From 230, it's at the 5 feet for an eagle.
Indeed. So great opportunity for Oosthuizen with the 64, 7 under. Good now for a one-shot lead over Paisley and the reigning PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, Rafa Cabrera-Bello. He's been playing great golf, a perfect 11 for 11 in this season in cuts made. And John Rahm finds himself just 3 out of the lead. But day one belonged to Louis Oosthuizen.
It's a difficult course if you feel little off your game. Especially trying to work out where you need to pitch it and all the math we're doing out there. And, I think everything is on ball flight. That's going to determine where you pitch it, where you're going to go short or long. It's really going a long way. But I've been playing really well the last few weeks and swinging it really good. So today worked out nicely. Every time we worked out, what it should do or what we think we're going to do, we were spot on. So hopefully we can do the same tomorrow and the next 2 days.
Well, we mentioned off the top, this was it. This was the best opening round of the PGA Tour of Louis Oosthuizen's career. The previous, you'll remember that 65 for sure at the Open, which turns out to be his only win. It was a major championship, but the 65 there, we'll see if Louis can follow it up here with the 64 on Thursday. Do It Right is presented by Ally Bank.
Is presented by Ally Bank.
And on the PGA Tour, it's hard to believe that Louis Oosthuizen has just the one victory. It did come at the Open, because you don't see a ton of him week to week here on the PGA Tour, Frank. But in the big ones, he can sneak up at any time.
He certainly can. I mean, technically, he's never won in North America, so this would certainly count as a huge victory for him. But, South Africa is famous for the big five, right? And that's when you go hunting, whether it be with a gun or a camera. You go on safari. Well, if we look at the big five events in golf, which are the 4 majors and the Players' Championship, all of a sudden, Louis becomes the ultimate bridesmaid. I mean, it's a tremendous resume. And, whether it's a World Golf Championship event, the major championships, he has finished runner-up in just about every main event in the world. That is something not necessarily he is proud of. It is something he wants to improve upon. But, Mark, it just shows his pedigree. I mean, he is the quintessential big-time player.
I think it shows, too, how motivated he is by the big events, because really, in a lot of cases, it's sort of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Oosthuizen. He can disappear even within a round. I've seen him, sometimes turn a round that looked like it was going to be a good one into 75 or 76. He will not play for a while in some streaks. Of course, he's had some back injuries and back issues, but boy, when it comes to these big events, somehow that motivation to get ready for those is just amazing for Louis.
Rolf, help me understand that, though, because whenever he does play, we always hear the analysts, for sure, talk about the tempo, talk about how beautiful the swing is. I mean, it is, every time you see him, the analyst says the same thing. It's one of the great swings in golf. Yet he just has the one win. And you talk about how sometimes it's a 76 or 75 where there's great moments and then he loses it. Why is so inconsistent?
He reminds me a little bit of Phil Mickelson, and people might say, what, are you crazy? But Phil, I have said a number of times, is situationally motivated. He's not motivated all the time. Louis loves to get away from the game, like totally away from it. And I think he is situationally motivated when it comes to the big events. And no matter what it is for about those big events, he gets up for those, definitely.
Plus, he has like the Adam Scott syndrome. They were blessed with a good golf swing, so it means early on in their career they could hit the ball better than most of the other players their own age. So they really didn't have to develop short games. They could still compete against players in their own age group as they were growing up and beat them purely with a superior tee to green game. And that's why they both translated so well to professional golf. But all of a sudden, that sort of distance putt. Louis, as we know, you go back to St. Andrews when there was the 3-way playoff, Mark Leishman himself and Zach Johnson just a few years ago. It was that length that was nemesis. And just too often, we know with 4 or 5 holes to go, the guy that misses the short one, that's it. He's done. Doesn't take home the trophy.
Well, Louis will be one of the many stories that we are chronicling as we move into Friday. We will continue to keep our eye on Phil Mickelson. It is a Ryder Cup year. Yes, indeed. Phil is motivated. Been playing some of the best golf we've seen. He's done everything but win. Speaking of win, Bubba Watson, the win at Riviera. At one point, Bubba had it at 7 under par here in Mexico. What in the world happened to Bubba? We'll show it to you straight ahead.
Golf Central is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Why golf later when you can golf now? Instantly book tee times at over 6,000 courses.